there, and thank you so much for joining us this day right here on Transforming Families. My name is Faith Kaulu, and I am excited to have you on board because each time we are here, this means that it is yet another opportunity to have these very hard discussions that are quite important for us and generally in the society to bring healing and to bring love. Now, with me today in studio is Susan Njeri, who is known to many as Susie wa cerebral palsy. And anapenda kusema she's the mother of all children with cerebral palsy, known and unknown to her. How beautiful that is. Karibu sana Susan to CAC TV and to Transforming Families.
Thank you very much, Faith. I'm humbled.
Yeah.
Thank you for hosting me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think let's start with looking at you making your arms open to all children with cerebral palsy. Tell us about that, the love that you're willing to give.
Well, I would say that experience is the best teacher. And having a child with cerebral palsy,
Yeah.
up to now it's 11 years. She's 11 years. She's my firstborn. I know the shoes I fit in that any other person fits in with this child.
Yeah.
And the pains, the triumphs, the celebrations, everything that we go through, it is known to me, and that is why I would like, or I have always wanted to keep it open for any parent that are going through the same journey. It's not an easy journey, but I always tell them, we were not meant to do this alone. Yeah.
Wow, that is very beautiful. And I like that you're mentioning you are not meant to do it alone, because we have a lot of people who are in the same shoes that pull others away because maybe they feel like a burden or they feel like it's an embarrassment, and we'll get to that.
Sure.
But let's start with you taking us through your journey. You've mentioned that your first daughter is with cerebral palsy. Take us through that. The very first time you were pregnant, how was the pregnancy?
Just like any other FTM, I mean, first time mother, you have all these butterflies, the joy, the excitement of your first child. And honestly, as much as you're excited, you know nothing about being a mother. So it's a new door that you're knocking, that it's non-reversible process. So I was equally just like a typical FTM. And I really looked forward to that time that I hold my bundle of joy. And even when the scan revealed that is a baby girl, I was like, oh, thank you. Because this means there's a passage of generation. So it was a smooth pregnancy. I cannot complain much as I had some few headaches here and there, especially during my last trimester. But there was nothing really striking. So when the day came, all went well. It was a smooth labor. I did not have much pain. But looking back, I can say it took longer than it was supposed to take, and abnormally, because when the first onset of labor came, was just a pinch, and you're like, okay, let me go to hospital, because I had read a lot about all this. And when I went there, they told me you have a 2 centimeters dilation. Go back, do some more exercises until you're fully dilated. So when I even went back home, there was no pain. I even slept almost the whole day. Until the last minute when I went to the hospital. And the doctor said, I'm at 8 centimeters, but let me say I did not even last from there. But there was one alarming word that they said. They said that there's meconium. When the water broke, they said there's meconium. And meconium means your child is under distress. So even there's let me say, quote unquote, dirty water. The water is dirty, it's greenish.
Yeah.
The child has pooped. And it means that's distress. Just like, sorry to talk about this, but let me compare it to a person committing suicide.
Yeah.
It's still the same, the way they are under distress and they poop.
Yeah.
So this is what had happened to my child. And on the very minute I delivered, just when the head popped, at the neck point, the doctor told me stop pushing. And it was at that point I had the other nurse saying, oh my God, there's a new cord, and it was actually a double one. So to me, I think I knew all this, what it meant. And when I stopped, they cut it, and I continued the whole. My child did not cry just immediately, but cried. Well, the APGAR score was not bad. But now, having that in mind, because I knew what was really going on.
Yeah.
After some, I was discharged the following day, actually. They said there's nothing wrong with the child, neither the mother, so you can go home and recover from there.
Yeah.
After 3 days, my child could not cry, did not suckle, and I was told, when I went to hospital, I was told that the child has severe jaundice. Yes, I had seen that at night, and that is why I rushed to hospital, because I saw in the urine, in the diaper, the urine was yellow. So when I went, and they told me, oh, the levels are too high. So I was given a referral to a referral hospital, to Kenyatta Hospital, and the child was admitted. And let me say that is where my journey really started.
Yeah.
And I could not stand seeing my little one suffering the injections, all the procedures, the transfusion exchange.
Yeah.
It was really traumatizing. And then it was made clear to me that this medicine that I'm treating this child with might have a side effect with the hearing.
Okay.
So it's either you choose the medicine, you choose the consequences of losing the hearing sense, or we lose the child. So definitely you would not go for losing the child. You want your child to live,
Yeah.
regardless of the outcome. After all, I have not lived it. So I did not even anticipate or even know to what extent will the damage be. Yeah.
All right. What emotions were going through you at that point?
Actually, my emotions or my outburst was not actually because of the condition. It was because of all this, my child is going through all this.
Yeah.
He's being injected, pipes everywhere, here and there. And that is what was distressing me.
Okay.
Until now, the diagnosis of cerebral palsy at 4 months. That is when now I came to start knowing, okay, what are the implications?
All right.
What does this mean to me or to even my child? Yes.
So the diagnosis came after your child had gone through the treatment and was out of hospital?
Yes, was out of hospital. But now, after going back to clinics,
Yeah.
the vaccinations, every other time I would look at other children. I say, okay, so yours has a neck control, mine is still very weak.
Yeah.
And that is when I went to the nurse and asked her, I can't say, my baby is very weak. And I remember even the nurse almost quarreled me, asking me, and why the drop in kgs? And I could not even answer. Actually, I just cried, started sobbing. I don't know, why are you asking me? Yet I've come to ask you the same.
Yeah.
And that is when they called me aside and told me, you need to see a neurologist. No, first of all, they told me you have to see a nutritionist. And when I went to the nutritionist told me, the weight is not that bad, but I think your child has a more need to be checked. So go and see a pediatrician. Just on my way to seeing a pediatrician, I saw a doctor who was treating my child when she was young. Kotukwa corridors, and I said hi, and she was really good, and she told me, okay, I now remember you, and I think you should go to a neurologist and have your child checked. And she directed me, and when I went there, yeah, the news were broken to me. I don't know even what to say when the news were broken. I just felt like, okay, so what does this mean?
Yeah.
Does it mean that my child will? No. Are these the same photos? Okay, my child does not look like those kids I see in those photos, since I was told my child has cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
And every day I could Google about cerebral palsy, try to see, is this, no, my child does not look like this.
Yeah.
My child does not drool like this. No. Does it mean that she's going to transform to this?
Yeah.
And now when I was advised to go for therapy, again there I got misplaced hopes. I was like, I go for therapy, I was looking at the better kids, you know, and I remember we became very close friends with one mama who was telling me, I've been in for therapy for 2 years. Look, my child can walk now. And that is where I pegged my hope.
Okay.
Like I said, okay, 2 years, maybe I can wait for 2 years. Little did I know that we are not having the same condition. Her child had rickets, severe rickets, and here I am with CP, hoping that after 2 years my child will be like this one.
Yeah.
So, and she used also to tell me, but your child is not even bad off. Your child can even bear weight. Mine was not bearing weight, was collapsing her legs, and so that is all I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
I did not want to hear that those kids I see in those pictures would be my daughter.
Yeah.
And so I continued with therapy. But how I started drifting off my hopes is saying that, okay, is there any change after all? 2 years have elapsed. Is there any change? There's nothing.
Yeah.
She's not walking. Her head is still dropping. She can't do anything for herself. And now I started getting now to the other point that I did not want to hear. That this is cerebral palsy. It depends with the severity. My child is not very severe, but also not mild.
Okay.
So I think I should continue now from there. And that is when I started accepting. At first I was in total denial. I went into total depression. But when I accepted, it felt like a pop-up moment. I felt like it's a new beginning. The small hatred I used to feel and the bitterness, it all went off. I used to blame myself. I used to say, I wish I did not even sign that medicine. I did not want to suffer with this child this much. And even sometimes I used to say, I wish I did not have child with this man.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I would have waited for the next year. The other lot would have come, but ile beli ingine. Yeah, that is what I felt like. But again, now when I accepted and said, no, we are journeying, I started seeing her beautiful smile, the beauty of it all, the ease of it all, and up to now, I don't think I can retract to what I was feeling. No.
Yeah. You have made beautiful memories through
a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Allow me to take us back. You mentioned that you were in denial, you know, in a moment where you asked yourself a lot of questions.
Yeah.
We've had people in the same situation and they ended up giving out the baby. You know, what kept you holding on and say, let me keep this baby. This is my child. And no matter this information that we have received, we'll walk through it together.
Let me say, mothers are injected with some special grace. And people who hold dearly to life, no matter how bad it is, you would not wish away a life.
Yeah.
So, yes, I would say, I wish I did not have the medicine signed. So that child would have passed on because of a medical condition.
Yeah.
But not because, but I would feel like I denied that child a chance to live.
Sure.
So every day I would say to myself, now that we are past that, now that even nobody asks whether I want this child to live, yet in my own arms I can't take life. And then my child has, up to now, she has that contagious laughter. So that would come to me, we laugh and we're like, okay, this child, I think this child is wonderful.
Yeah.
And I'm a great supporter of good life, and I wanted to see also my child living a good life. I also started becoming curious. What next? What about next year, a time like this?
Yeah.
How far will we be? And that is when I realized that, oh, time has run.
Yeah.
More grace, more love. Every day I'm growing with this baby. Yeah.
How different would you say things became after now you accepted that, you know, my child has cerebral palsy? We'll try make it better, and even if we go for therapy and things don't seem to be progressing much, it's okay. I'd still love her, I'd still be there. You know, that pop-up moment you had after that, how different the things seem to be.
Well, I can tell you, Faith, that that pop-up moment means a new chapter.
Yeah.
It means looking at things from different points. So what changed was my attitude. What changed was also my aspiration to see things getting better.
Yeah.
And I could not even fight. I wanted to know, what is now this cerebral palsy? Okay, now let's live together. Me, my daughter, and cerebral palsy. Let's live.
Yeah.
So I started accommodating. I also started talking about it to other people, exposing her to just normal life.
Okay.
It became so easy even to manage things around her. When, you know, our kids are very stiff, even when I'm dressing her, I could at least wait for her to relieve her muscles. So everything became so easy. Because after all, there's nothing hard. Now I can face it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You felt like you can soldier on.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. You've mentioned something that after your attitude changed, you know, you then handle her with care. If you're dressing her, you'd wait until she has relaxed. And this has made me imagine of the many mothers who mistreat children with different conditions. Yeah. We've also seen such stories in the news,
Sure.
Which is very sad. But then what would you speak of this situation?
Reflecting back to my journey, it can get lonely.
Okay.
It can get depressing. It can get helpless. So when there's an article I wrote sometimes back on, God does not give special children to special mothers.
All right. I like that.
Because I would not put myself in the same category as that mother who would inject poison to their child.
Yeah.
So we're not special. We're just human. And it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
So when this person is mistreating this child, they are not more than human. I mean, they're not inhuman. What I would also say is that this journey is a hard journey.
Okay.
If they don't get the right system of support, depression sets in. And with depression, it comes out of mind.
Yeah.
So your conscience no longer works.
Okay.
You don't have feelings. You become dumb. You become, nothing else into you that works. So this person who mistreats this child possibly might need an ear
Okay. Wow.
to talk to. Some need more than an ear. Like today, and just like any other day, I wake up to messages. Susie, I totally need somebody to talk to. Mimi, I'm giving up. I don't know even what else to do. These are messages that come to me. Some come, okay, I don't have medicines, I don't have diapers, I don't have this. If that person does not get the support they need,
Yeah.
Somebody might just be needing some medicine for that child. And maybe the only thing you can do is to tell them it shall be well. I usually say, solve a problem according to it. Sometimes words might not just be.
Yeah.
Some want that material help. Because the disabling nature of this child might have rendered this parent to some situation, some poverty, that they are not even able to cater for their needs. So let those parents who have that thought of, I wish you were not living in my life, I wish I would do away with you.
Yeah.
Some would even prepare everything to do away with this child. Maybe throw them and drop them somewhere. Maybe take them to school and abandon them there. How I wish they would know that somebody else can listen.
Yeah.
But in the society that we live, and everybody says, mimi niko na mashida zangu. Pambana na hali yako.
Yeah.
In that situation, somebody might hold back their cry and say, even if I say this to anybody, nobody will understand me. So I think we need a more accommodating society.
Okay.
The relevant bodies, if the organizations, the government, everybody should come into place and say, now let's face this one. Because as these children grow, the more burdening they become. Yeah, yesterday I was with my daughter, and it was a wholesome day. Very overwhelming and draining. Yes, for her, she has a wheelchair. You can push her around.
Yeah.
So there's no much carrying her. But I can tell you, even lifting her from here to there. At some point, she wanted to go to the loo. She doesn't speak.
Yeah.
But we have a way of communicating.
Okay.
But also lifting her. I had to go to 3rd floor somewhere to get her a loo. Lifting her from there up to 3rd floor is not easy.
Yeah.
Getting a house help who will understand that child at that age. Maybe they're in their adolescence. They have all signs of adolescence. Some have started their periods.
Yeah.
Who is this that will accommodate this child better than the mother?
Yeah.
Then you find that this mother possibly is a single mother, has to fend for this child and their needs, and so they need a house help. Who is this God-sent house help who will stay up with these children? So sometimes I even think, what if the government will just do something about it? Are you a mother taking care? Are you a father? Are you parents taking care of a child with cerebral palsy? Remember, this child is immobile.
Yeah.
This child possibly has other conditions. The child is growing normally, as in the body development. But you can't do anything about it. And you can't go. I think we are more entitled to a salary to cater for the gap.
Yeah.
Because these are people who belong to the society. We belong to a community. I know in the African setting, we have this mentality of like we want to say to equate our children to assets.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you so that in future you can help
take
me,
care
or you can take care of your siblings, or you know, or you can take care of yourself.
Yes.
What about this child who is non-thriving? Not going to school, doing nothing.
Yeah.
How much, yet you're supposed to invest more on this child in terms of time.
Yeah.
And I'm still in denial, and I wouldn't want to come into terms, as much as is the reality. I'm still in denial that even the government sees these children in such. You are doing nothing to the society.
Yeah.
Wewe hata kufagia kwenyu, you can't.
You can't, yeah.
So who are you? Why should I invest in you?
Because when you grow up, you won't do anything for economy.
Yeah.
Which is sad, and I like what you said, because it's happening in some countries, you know, where a parent would be allowed to stay home with the child, be the caregiver, and they'll get something from the government, which I totally support. And thank you for answering the previous question so well. I have had an understanding, and I hope also our viewers have also understood that sometimes the parent just needs an ear, someone to listen to them and support, you know. Mtu anakujanga kona shida, they need money, but then say it will be all right. I mean, if you have 50 bob, give them. That would make things better. So let's take a very short break. Dear viewer, do not go too far, because this discussion is still going on. We'll be right back after the break.
Power is sweet.
It's very, very difficult for you to find a regular person, yani mse wa mtaa, amepatiwa such a position.
We saw the scandal at Kenya Power, we saw the scandal at the Treasury, Arorki Mwareda. Are those people youth?
They united together because of their own businesses.
Power tends to corrupt, and absolute powers corrupts absolutely.
In our Africa culture, when you have food in the mouth, you don't speak. Are they eating? That's why the issue of impeaching the president stopped.
This is Power Brief, where we major on politics.
Pastors should not be seen leading a demonstration in the streets. We never saw the others that came before us doing those things.
Power Brief is now bigger and better. Every Thursday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Join Cornelius Omuse, Edgar Kosgei, Edwin Kegoli, and a team of experienced political and governance analysts for powerful discussions on politics, governance and economy, only on CAC TV.
All right, welcome back, and thank you so much for keeping it right here. With me in studio is Susan Jerry, who's a mother to a child with cerebral palsy, and a mother to every child with cerebral palsy. And today we're just bringing this discussion here because I believe it is important how we respond to caregivers of people with cerebral palsy, or just really any other condition that might be overwhelming, draining financially and emotionally, which is quite important because it is how we interact with these people that help them to keep on keeping on and to have strength. You mentioned that the journey can get quite tough and lonely, and even as we're talking about how as a society or the extended family responds to a parent whose child has been diagnosed with cerebral palsy or any other condition, let's talk about, you know, hurtful comments that people make when they come visiting, or how they treat such children when they are around them. Yeah.
Let me say stigma is real. And the worst form of a stigma is verbal and also in actions.
Okay.
Sometimes we might not even talk about it. But what about, what gesture do you show?
Yeah.
The staring, you know, you see a child on a wheelchair, or you see people, you see how people are getting to say how that child is. I have seen people going even in town, carrying their big children at the back, and somebody just taps them and tell them, "We mama, si ubebe mtoto vizuri." For heaven's sake, this child has zero concentration on whatever is going on, zero coordination. So if they drop their head, they drop their head. The child is too big even to control.
Yeah. So
I think people should be quite sensitive to what they say. In my not so, in my very recent statement and a short article I wrote about what to say instead. You know, sometimes you mean well. You know, when you tell a mother, I don't think I can do this.
You're special.
You're special. What do you mean? You can't. Who was meant to do it? Does it mean indirectly you're saying, thanks God it's your child and not mine?
Yeah.
And these are some of the things you mean well, yes? How do you manage this? You mean well, back in your mind, but it's not cool. Because nobody choose to. Given a choice, we would all want to be perfect.
Yeah.
In human definition of perfection.
Yeah.
But let me say God has his own perfection terms.
Sure.
And I would not really correct you when you say this word to me, but I would show you that you can also do it. Because disability is an open club. Anybody can join.
Yeah.
If it were your child, what would you have done? Would you have abandoned them? We've seen accidents happening here and there. I have a friend whose child fell off from first floor. The child was in class 3, doing well. But now, that child can do nothing, totally nothing after that fall. They had a crack on the skull.
Okay.
So, you can do it. If a previous day, that mother would have seen another child, another special needs child, another mother carrying their child, they would have asked them, how hii nguvu yote huwa unatoa wapi? Carrying a 10 years old, a 15 years old, where do you get it from?
Yeah.
Because we were not meant to do this alone. Encourage that person, help where you can. As they grow, just though they use diapers, help there. That is what you can also do. And that is what you would expect somebody else to do,
Sure.
for you.
Yeah.
Because we've been in situations here and there, and we've seen even people who have severe burns, and you're like, how much that pain,
Yeah.
you know, would I persevere the same?
And you don't want to look at them.
You don't want to look at them. But just know that there's no new problem and challenge in this world. Everything else that someone else is facing can be somebody else tomorrow, and it will get to another person in future. And it has also affected others days before.
Yeah.
So let's try to be considerate. Tell them you're doing a good job.
Okay.
Ask, how can I help? Sometimes just stay with that child. Let the mother take a nap for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because possibly they never slept. The seizures, the convulsions of this child kept them awake a whole day. Sometimes they just want to go for a coffee date. Invite them over.
Yeah.
Let them have somebody look at their children. You know, just for them to have a social life. Because if there's something else that lacks in our lives, it's social life. You don't even go for those family gatherings.
Yeah.
Because even if you go to that family gathering, all through you're with your child, you're holding your child, you're feeding your child like 3 hours. And sometimes people feel like, what did you come to do? How much can you contribute even?
Yeah.
Last time you talked about this now, you know, even in that family you feel like I'm just a burden. As a society, as family members, come to these families. Get to know what your neighbor is going through. Don't just stare. Some even tell their typical children, don't play with that one. Don't play with them. You'll be like that child. That child will drool on you, will spit on you.
Yeah.
You know, let's be accommodative as a society so that we can make life easier for others. Because in this world, the much you can do is to make someone happy. Yes.
And I think we need to do better as a society, and I know we can do better.
We can.
You know, because most times when we see a child passing with the mother on a wheelchair, we think, hey, God, thank you. It is not me, you know. But then why? Why would you show attitude? Because this affects, I believe, when such happens, when you get those stares and such comments, there's a way they hit a spot and you think,
Yes.
wow, I wish that didn't come from you. Yeah. So we need to do better, and we can do better as a society. So it's upon us to ensure that we accommodate everyone, because they are part of the community. It doesn't matter what condition they're in, they are still part of the community, and we need to accommodate them. Let's look at now the extended family. We've had people who say, you know, you are cursed, or it's because you didn't honor your parents, you didn't go out to give dowry with your husband, and that's why this has happened. Yeah, talk about that.
Yes, as I said earlier, Africa is a superstitious culture, and this is not a new thing. And every time you see that parent, just know they have been accused of something. Oh, when you were younger, you disobeyed. When you were younger, you aborted. When you were younger, you know, your family, your great-grandmother did not, I don't know, give what.
Yeah.
You know, you need to go for sacrifices. You need deliverance. You need prayers. Come to Bishop who and who. You know, you're short of faith. All these accusations.
Yeah.
But let me say, biology has nothing to do with your beliefs. This is purely biology. And all those sacrifices that we give to appease the gods or whoever power it is, they cannot reverse cerebral palsy. How much prayers you give cannot reverse cerebral palsy. In fact, if you were to pray for grace.
Okay.
Pray that God gives you wisdom to live with that parent who has this child.
Yeah.
Pray to God to give you a loving heart that you can love this child and the parent. Or you as a parent, pray for God to provide for you. But do not do in vain prayers that, oh God, you know, you're going to get so desperate. You're going to even hate that same God that you pray to.
Yeah.
Because eventually you'll tell him, I know you don't exist. If you can't heal my child, you're going to give conditions to God, ultimatums, that eventually they'll not. He is the same God who created all parts of this body.
Yeah.
And he knows the reason as to why he created brain cells that if damaged, they will not regenerate. And yet he says all this is for his glory.
Sure.
How else do you want to take his glory? He cannot take back his glory. He must be manifested through that.
Yeah.
So let's not make people guilty of something they've not done. They know nothing of. Breaking unseen curses. Making people feel like they have done the worst sins in this world. They don't deserve to be in the world. They have caused suffering to the world. Now, every time, imagine that parent, the same parent who is supposed to go buy some medicines is now coerced to go buy, I don't know what, goats.
Yeah.
You know, and give a party to people. Those are just parties that people create.
Yeah.
They mean nothing, totally nothing.
Yeah. And might end up disappointing because you'll do all that, but then nothing changes.
What happens is that people do not understand. Yes, throw a party, but not in the name of healing cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
Or healing any disability. Or, I don't know, cleansing. What are you cleansing? This is a child who was innocently born. Are you cleansing the parent or the furthermore who has a disability here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is the child? Is the child the one doing the going through the cleansing, or is now the parent who is being forced to take place of this child with the disability?
Yeah.
If this child cannot take that goat and slaughter, excuse me, you're making other people carry burdens that they are not supposed to carry.
Yeah.
Making them feel guilty, unworthy, and they feel bad about their lives. And desperation that comes with that. It's like how people used to go to the mountain, pray for rain, and by the time they come back, it's raining.
Yeah.
What if it did not rain? They come and say, no, we did not give the right way. One of us is not clean enough to give that sacrifice. Please, hii imepitwa na wakati.
Yeah.
Those are barbaric cultural practices that they don't have a space in our current society.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, very well put. I won't add on that because you've put it so well. Imepitwa na wakati, tuweke kando.
Sure.
Let's talk about, here's your first child. You've been informed she has this condition. You still have other children. Why are you scared when you decided, okay, let me try again? Why are you scared that what if it happens again, or what if something else comes up? How was that for you?
Acceptance is a good thing.
All
I
right.
repeat the same words. When you accept, you even start saying nothing worse can happen. And in this life. Yes, we have people who have multiple children with cerebral palsy and other conditions.
Yeah.
But even them, they don't give it a thought. It's not the thought that makes you free of it. It's even actually not having the thought about it.
Okay.
And having a child with CP, mostly children with disabilities are firstborns. I don't know why. The devil loves to just to harvest the first fruit. And that is what I usually say. When you're naive, when you know nothing about it, nothing about parenthood, and here he is disappointing you in the worst way he can, and painful way, through your own child. So when you get this child, you also looking forward to future. If you stay only with this child, you're getting old, you're getting aged as time goes, you're running out of energy. Who will take care of them? Give that child a sibling. Those are future caregivers and current playmates. If you come to my house, you'll see a whole life in that child, because he's now adapted to his brothers. He can play. They communicate.
Yeah.
Actually, they have adapted to her language.
Okay.
Her language is non-verbal, but very loud.
Yeah.
As in, we communicate. She's the one who will, they are the ones who will tell, she wants this, she wants this. She's saying this. Those are future caregivers. When I'm weary, I know Prince, Parsley, and Presley will take care of their sister.
Yeah.
When I'm also, I want to go out, it's only now that they can't be left together. In the next 3-4 years, they'll be left in the house, and I'm able to run my errands without feeling like something else, you know. And also, those house girls that you bring in the house. I'm one person who say, I started a journey that is endless. One thing I know I will not do without house helps. Not in soon, not in future. So these siblings are the ones to coach in how their sister, the care that their sister needs.
Yeah.
They will be future protective armors.
Sure.
Because do you think somebody will hurt her when the brothers are there?
No.
No. They have grown. They have grown to a bond. They have loved her. And it has also transformed their way of thinking. In future, they'll be biggest advocates of cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
They'll tell others about persons with disabilities. They will bring an inclusion, you know, because it is in them now. So siblings, having siblings with these children, for these children is quite important.
Okay.
And they will not be lonely. They'll teach them how to do stuff. I just love the blend of having them that way.
Yes. There's something you've mentioned that I really liked, that siblings are future caregivers.
Sure.
Meaning you don't have to, you know, keep them apart.
No. Like now, these are boys. If all goes well, and which we pray for, they'll marry.
Yeah.
They'll have other women coming to the house. They're the ones who will tell them, okay, this is our sister. She's like this, she's like this. They will try to also coach these women in the house, such that even if she visits one of them, they'll not feel like they're burdened.
Yeah.
Because the brother loves them. So who are you not to?
Yeah.
They will.
Sure.
So their future caregivers, their needs also, the needs of this child will be met when I'm not able to, they'll be met by these boys.
Yeah.
I think if there was a remote to fast forward, I would love to see that. And how I pray every morning, every night, that God grants me life to see my girl growing into a woman. My boys growing into grown-up men, responsible people, to see how really they will cope up. Yeah.
I like, wow, I think for me this is so enlightening, because now when you allow other children to interact with this child who has a special condition, then you're not only teaching them how to include that child, but you're also spreading the message, because they'll have friends, they'll wed, you know, they'll meet other people. Wow, that is very enlightening and such a nice thing you're doing. But before we conclude, let's talk about the cerebral palsy space that you're running. Tell us a bit about it.
Cerebral Palsy Space, CEPAS, is a community-based organization that started in realization of the need that there is in the society. And we started off like just a support group until now our needs became beyond a support group. It was first founded as for caregivers only. So initially it was caregivers space. But now we became more specific because caregivers are many. You know, from terminal illness, caregivers, other conditions, other disabilities. Now, to be specific, cerebral palsy space. It's located in Dandora Phase 1. At least with that setting, it caters for the neighborhood that is a low-living neighborhood. Dandora, Korogocho, Huruma, Kariobangi. And children are dropped there every morning as their parents run their errands. As we said, we need a social life for the parents. They need their lives. They need to fend for these children, but they also need a safe haven for their children. While they're there, we feed them, we take care of them until it's their time to go home. Most people ask me, why don't you convert it into a boarding? And I tell them, my aim is to see parents bonding with their children every day. I want to see you knowing what the progress in your child, because I'm a less advocate for boarding schools for our children. Because nobody will understand this child more than a parent who has gone through this. And also, you need not to skip a milestone for your child. I don't know even how I would feel sleeping outside with my child. And without knowing whether she turned or not. No, we've seen others coming back with very bad bed sores. Because anyway, nobody can do it better than you. So you need to watch your child over and over. So there we just feed them, take care. We deal with very severe cases. If a child has a level of education, or rather can go to school, we send them to school instead. We don't keep them there. This one is just for severe kids, such that if this child is not coming to the center, then the mother might remain at home, or the father, of which in most cases we talk of the mother, because I know most of them are mothers, and actually, and very unfortunate single mothers. That is another aspect that we need to look at, like why there are so many single parents with this, which I know it's attributed mostly to culture, blame games, irresponsibilities. So I know most of them are single mothers. So if you're single and you have that child, you might end up getting more disabled than even that child. So cerebral palsy space is a good place for the kids around. We run other programs like the mobility program. where we reach out to kids even outside Nairobi. As much as we are a CBO, you know, being a CBO is just a registry entity.
Okay.
But the need is global.
Yeah.
So
sure.
we reach out to even those who are in rurals, so that we can see their needs, especially with the mobility, the wheelchairs, and other assistive devices. Because with the wheelchair, you can actually do something around with that child.
Yeah.
So, and then we run diaper drives. Our kids have 6 basic needs, unlike the 3 human basic needs. On top of the 3 basic needs, we have diapers, we have therapy, and we have medicines.
Okay.
So we have all these programs there, but it's not also easy running them, because we rely mostly on well-wishers, just friends who feel like they can do something. Some come to celebrate their birthdays, some come with their groups, with their social groups, some come with their families, just to support these children.
Yeah.
Because all they need is that support. Possibly whatever you're giving is just for that survival, just for the day, and it takes us a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Before we conclude, a word of hope to a mother, a caregiver who's maybe feeling like giving up, or who's having a lot of questions, is in the denial stage, is wondering why me. Yeah.
I would tell them it's normal to feel that way, because we are human, and as I said, we look for perfection, and in our own terms of perfection. When you feel it's draining, look for support.
Okay.
Don't wallow in sorrow and desperation and despair. Just look for a support group. We have even WhatsApp groups that we can add parents. We also have even where you go for therapy. We are trying to see if every person would be added to a group or somewhere, so that they can have support groups within their areas. This helps most of them even do other things other than just coming and saying, oh, you know, jipe nguvu, nini. Other than that, some even grow even financially together. So get yourself into a support group and know that you were not meant to do this alone.
I like that. I like that. So ask for help, reach out to someone, because you were not meant to do this alone.
Yes.
If anyone wants to reach out to you or to support the cerebral palsy space, how do they do that?
You can reach me directly, which is also the office number.
Okay.
On 0722 956574, 0722 956574, or you can donate directly to our paybill number. Our paybill number is 429733, 429733, account your name.
All right. Thank you so much for coming today, Susie, for sharing your story, for enlightening us and educating us as well in how we can include everyone in the community and support caregivers and parents. I appreciate it. All right. To you, dear viewer, I hope you have learned that you can do better. And if you are a parent or a caregiver, have hope, take strength, reach out to someone and look for a community or a support group and join. Thank you so much for being with us today. Let us know in the comment section what you've learned as well as what you'd like us to handle next. And I promise you we will bring it on board. Till next time, my name is Faith Kaulu. Keep watching CAK TV.